What's good, everybody? So today is going to be an interesting one, to say the least. As you can tell from the title, Scump recently partnered with a website called Pro Guides, and basically it's a website where you can subscribe to unlock tips videos and get coaching from esports pros or talents or personalities. And each coach on the site has like a program or like a training routine of all the videos. You can go check it out for yourself as well. And Scump has 11 videos that's in total about 100 minutes long, so an hour and 40 minutes long. The biggest surprise is that, of course, I bought this, and the biggest surprise was how much this thing cost. It was $96 to unlock the Scump training program. Unless I missed something, you have to subscribe for the annual subscription to unlock Scump's content, because it's like more premium content apparently. That's a steep price for 11 videos. And so we'll see what happens. Obviously, that's kind of my first hiccup where I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't record this video. And they go over all these different topics. So there's one called Getting to Know Scump, Path to Go Pro, Controllers and Settings, Communication, Aim and Centering, Movement, Clutch Factor, Map Control and Information, Search and Destroy, Hardpoint, and Practice and Routine. So definitely I'm excited to see what he has to say about some of those last ones for sure, especially like Clutch Factor and Routine, Map Control, Search and Destroy, Hardpoint. Those are really interesting, I think, and I'm excited to see what he has to say about that. I decided to go with it. We're here, and we're gonna be watching all 140 minutes of Scump's videos and breaking them down. And also, first of all, I'm not doing this to like besmirch or devalue whatever Scump's doing. I think this is really, really cool, and there's definitely a place for this. This is my only first hesitation is just the price, but I'm excited to see what he can do, because I'm obviously, at the end of the day, Scump's the face of competitive COD, and I'm looking forward to this. So I still haven't watched 1 minute of this yet, so I'm really excited to get into it. So without further ado, let's finally get into this first video, and let's talk about it. Let's go. Alrighty, so just got done with the first video, and honestly, really pleasantly surprised with my purchase so far. This was a nice experience. 7 minutes and 13 seconds of just kind of Scump talking about his path to becoming a pro, his history a little bit, and some of the things that make pros as good as they are, and kind of it's obviously the intro video to the rest of the series, and I saw some of these parts as the clips that he used in the promotional material. So as a whole, the production's really impressive. Shout out Pro Guides for making a really cool video off the rip. And so I'm optimistic heading into the rest of these videos and what Scump can bring to the table here and what value he can provide, obviously, and see what happens. So not too much on video one, obviously. Good start to the series. I'm looking forward to this. So let's head on to video number 2. Alrighty, so video 2 was Path to Go Pro, and this video wasn't as good as the first one, I think. With the information was a little bit less or more scatterbrained and not as planned out as I thought it was going to be. Obviously, I've made a video called The Path to Go Pro twice now, 2 years in a row. And generally, I think people are wanting to hear like, okay, like once I start playing or once I start winning at this point in this, like in pubs, when do I move to play more league play? When do I move to play more GBs? When do I move to play more tournaments, more UMGs? When do I play challengers? When do I play the 2Ks? When do I play tournaments? And how do I move from there to there? And so it was a little bit of a scattered video where he didn't really talk about that specifically. He talked more about the mentality that it takes to be a pro and some of the steps that you can take when it comes to putting the amount of hours in and practice, and the value that like league play can get you versus playing with a team. So it wasn't as good of a video, I would say, definitely compared to episode 1. So I'm hoping it ramps up from here, and I'm excited to see what else goes on here. Obviously, selfless, shameless plug. I would recommend you go check out my my Road to Go Pro video the last time we did this, and I'll be putting out another one this upcoming off season as well, kind of updated. So be on the lookout for that. But with that said, I think we can head to our third video, which is Controllers and Settings. So I'll be surprised to see if anything too crazy is in this one, but let's move forward. All right, so that video was like 5 minutes long. Nothing too crazy there. About exactly what you expect. He gave us the sales pitch for Claw, of course, with Scump plays, which is, a good time. If you don't have a Scuff, I do recommend playing Claw. And going from there, if you don't have a Scuff or a Battle Beaver or whatever, I think it is the right play, trying to avoid taking your right hand off that analog stick at all times. Nothing too crazy there. About what you'd expect, there's tons of videos on YouTube that are basically that, and goes through his settings as well, which again I think we've seen. CDL Intel has a whole list of all pro player settings and things like that. So I do want to shout out the graphics are really impressive, and these videos are really well put together. So I do respect that. you know, doing what I do around here. And so shout out Pro Guides for the cool videos. And the intro graphics are fire. So let's head on to video number 4. This is where it gets a little bit more interesting. The communication video. I'm looking forward to this one, and hopefully he has some good tips about how he communicates and how we can communicate. Let's check it out. Alrighty, so that was a pretty enjoyable video. As a whole, it was really solid. I think it was like maybe 5-6 minutes long, 6 minutes long. And I was hoping for a little bit more examples than what he gave. So at the end, they gave one example of like in the match and him talking through maybe about 30 seconds worth of what they'd be talking about in an actual match from them playing against LA Thieves. I was hoping for a little bit more of like some examples of Scump and breaking down their comms in game, because I think those types of things would really help newer players. But as a whole, the video was still really solid. He talked a lot about the importance of making callouts while a gunfight is going on and really giving that information for your team and playing for information so that you can communicate it for your teammates. And then he also talked a lot about the importance of regaining, like when you get tilted or get pissed, and maintaining positivity throughout a match, and the importance of when you get smoked or when you're getting smoked, take a deep breath, even in the middle of the match, and if you're getting bodied, just work on communicating really effectively, even more than you would if you were frying, because at least you're helping your team with the communication. So I thought that was really good. As a whole, he talked a little bit about like team play and how you should never be given a free kill around the map, where the communication should help enable you and your teammates to always get multiple shots in on enemies, and trade those kills, and never give the opposing team an easy kill. So all of those things combined, really solid video. Again, the graphics were really solid. Again, there were a few moments where I thought it was a little funny because like they were using like, you know, like a bot lobby example for like communication videos, which was a little weird. But besides that, I thought it was a solid video. Definitely some good value in there. Again, my only critique would be I was wishing there'd be more examples where he'd like be breaking down like a listen in from the CDL, or maybe from the stream and one of their scrims from the past, and maybe breaking down a moment like that. But unfortunately, there was nothing like actually listening to their comms. So overall, it was solid, but like nothing too crazy. I mean, I've done 2 communicate like the pros videos on my channel. Obviously, I think those videos are about they accomplish a lot of the same things at least, and I've given some examples of listen-ins in those videos. So that would be kind of like the only difference, I think, and at least something that I would assume, or at least hope, helps people a little bit more as well. So we'll see, but I'm looking forward to seeing what this next video has for us as well. It's a centering and aim and centering video. So I'm looking forward to that one. Let's roll it. Alrighty, so this was by far the best video yet. Obviously, this is the aim and centering video, and there was a lot to like out of this one. He gave some examples about how to aim and center. He went through and shot some bots. He broke down some gameplay. He broke down his Shotzi 1v1 from stage 2 against Dallas, which was really good on Checkmate. And just overall great video. He talked about the importance of, or the relationship between centering and anticipation. And, you know, obviously you have to have good centering, but to have good centering, you also need to have good anticipation and map knowledge and understanding where players are going to be. And then he talked about how to break cameras and cameraing. Of course, we have videos on the channel about cameraing, movement, centering, a lot of those things. Obviously, a lot of those types of videos on the channel as well. But overall, just I thought a really fun video. I don't know why I thought it was funny. They used an example. They were showing Neslo with the bullfrog in Ghosts, and I was like, let's go Neslo. Other thing he said is that he, like, you know, how to use stuns and nades to get information on where to center, and that a lot of pros use, you know, their stuns and nades to get that information about where they're going to center their screen. I thought that was a pretty good, like, you know, a good way to use that as well. So as a whole, great video, best one yet. I'm excited for the rest of these, because if they're as good as that one, then we'll be in for a lot of fun for the rest of this video. So let's head on to number 6, which is the movement video. So let's go. Wow, okay, so that was a packed video. That was like 15 minutes long, and there was a lot that went on there. So the kind of their format here is they talk about it in the first half, and then he walks through it with you in a bot lobby in the second half. They're gonna talk slide canceling. They're gonna talk about breaking cameras and how to slide cancel, to use that to break cameras. Then of course, he mentioned a little bit about player tendencies and learning how other players move in this video, which I thought was really kind of fun and interesting. And of course, I mean, for a pro player, that matters more than for us who are playing different people in every single league play match or a GB or whatever it is. He did talk about, like, you know, dialing on some of those tendencies early on in the games, even if you're playing against newer players, which I thought was good. One thing I thought was funny was they talked about snaking, and they spelled it sneaking, like you're sneaking around the map, like sneaking through the hallway or whatever, but like, you know, it's snaking. I thought that was really funny. They talked about jump shotting, of course, proning and how to use proning, laying down. He was on Garrison, so he used examples of like underneath, you know, different vans or the weird angles like in Square where you can look underneath the shelves and everything. He talked about using like those ratty angles like that. And then other things, he talked about shoulder peeking and jiggling and playing for information in like search and destroy or respawn, and just throwing your shoulders around a corner, playing for the information. And then, like I said, snaking, talked a lot about that as well. So overall, a really good video. Again, a lot of those things are kind of known to most very good players, but to a newer player, that's probably really, really important information, and probably got a lot of value out of that in that video. I know we have videos about a lot of these things on the channel, whether it's slide canceling or jump shotting and movement. And I've done a move like the pros video. I probably need to update that because I posted it early on in this year. I probably need to update it. Either way, good video there. I think people are gonna get a lot of value out of that. So now we're going into the videos that I'm really, really excited about. Clutch Factor is the next video up, and I'm really interested to see what he has to say about this. So without further ado, let's check it out. Okay, so that was a fun video. I actually really enjoyed that one too. So again, nothing like shocking information here, I don't think, when it comes to like Clutch Factor. Like, what are you gonna say? Like, be clutcher, you know? But at the end of the day, you talked about how important confidence is, and that confidence comes from like preparation and practice, and the importance of staying positive in those tough moments and just hyping yourself up, and always playing your numbers and using your teammates to your advantage to maximize your potential to win. And then he emphasized why nailing down the fundamentals is key, because those clutch factors and ability to make plays stays with you throughout all Call of Duties and getting better at the certain games. Again, at certain points in this video, you kind of veer off track of like the clutch factor topic and just talking about how to get better at the game as a whole. And so he's talking about that and how important those fundamentals are across all the board things they're talking about in the series. And then he broke down his 1v4 against Team Orbit in BO3, which was a cool moment. And that was Pac-Man squad, which I think is always just a good time. And yeah, just broke down that 1v4 and his thought process going through that. So that was really, really good too. So again, that's good value there. Again, I think those things are the types of things that I was surprised there's not even more of at this point, because, you know, he generally doesn't do that type of content on his YouTube channel. And so I was hoping to see even more and more like actual breakdown footage and things like that of in-game moments, because it's just something he doesn't do that often. But yeah, overall, pretty solid video. I like that one. We got 4 left. And it's the map control and information is up next. And then we got search and destroy, hardpoint, and then practice and routine. So I'm looking forward to these for sure. Let's check it out. Alrighty, so another fun video here as a whole. Again, nothing like groundbreaking information here, but at the same time, still a really, really solid video. He broke down a few things at the end as well, giving some good examples on Garrison again of how they play for information and play for map control. One thing that I thought was really funny was at one point Scump was talking about how they push out of hard points to create map control and play for information, and the graphic was completely off. Like it completely explained it wrong. The person making the graphic was really confused, and I thought that was funny. Besides that, I think it could have done a better job of like showing examples of some setups on hills that OpTic has used. Otherwise, it's like, you know, that's the point, is playing for map control and slaying during a hill, and that wasn't really very well explained. So I would say this was one of the worst, the lesser videos so far, just because it didn't do a good job of explaining that and the big error. So not an ideal video there. We talk about map control and setups on hard points all the time on this channel, like learn from the pros and things like that. And so this video just didn't explain it that well compared to many of the other ones. So now we've got the search and destroy, and then the hard point video, then the practice routine video. So I'm looking forward to those. So let's check them out. Okay, so the S&D video was good, but really scattered and all over the place. Obviously, when you're addressing search and destroy as one 10-minute video, there's no chance you're gonna be able to, you know, get through everything. Realistically, these S&D type and hardpoint videos should be multiple videos. I would say that these should be 3 or 4 different videos for Search and Destroy, and then 3 or 4 different videos for Hardpoint. And then, I mean, that would provide a lot more value, and then breaking down more specific moments, I think would help a lot. But anyway, he talked a lot about playing down a man like 2v3s or 3v4s and how you need to play towards a bomb site and make a play, because realistically, you're gonna be able to play your numbers game, and the percentage says that you have a better chance in a 3v4 or in a 3v3 on A bomb than you do in a 3v4 playing slow and trying to and figure that out, or playing in a 2v3 towards A bomb and having one guy play a 1v1 towards B bomb, whatever it is. Now, he talked about those numbers things. That's a video I did, or I talked about with Rambo. There's a legendary video of Rambo breaking down Search and Destroy, and I have 2 videos about that specific video talking about a lot of those things. But anyway, that was really good. I did really enjoy that. And then he talked about how a little bit of how to use island players like Envoy, and playing with information those island players can get. But again, that could have been a whole video in itself, and the 2v2s and 3v4s and playing in those certain situations could have been a whole video in itself as well. And so it was just like really rushing through a lot of those things, which I just felt like you didn't get as much information in those things as you could potentially get. So overall, solid. But I would have liked to see even more of his Search and Destroy stuff, and you don't get to hear pros talk about it that often. For gated content, that's something I would have really liked to see more of, is the specific S&D situations. He did break down a little bit of a clip of them playing against Empire, which was nice, but besides that, you really didn't get too much else. Again, like I said, for gated paid for content, I'd like to see a lot more of like the breakdowns and the specific detailed information about Search and Destroy, because pros don't talk about it very often. So with that said, we got the Hardpoint video up next. We got 2 videos left. Let's make it happen. Okay, so that was the Hardpoint video, and honestly, it was really interesting. So the first half was a little bit, again, like the S&D video, kind of discombobulated all over the place, talking about a bunch of different things. But what I really enjoyed was seeing Scump break down some moments here. So this was great. They broke down 3 moments in Hardpoint during like the CDL this year, and then they broke down the Scump long range with the Scorpion moment from BO2. And so overall, I think it was just like a nice little like situation there. He did the best clip was one against Florida, where he talked about on the rotation to P3, playing for spawns, and how he rotates, pushing through, playing the timings, and really working the spawn. So this was some good value, I think, and people who, you know, Scump fans who really want to get coached by Scump would really enjoy those moments specifically, because you don't get to see that from him, like breaking moments down like that, like on his YouTube channel or on Twitch. So again, those are the things I was hoping to see more of. And we finally got a solid like 5 minutes of that or so here in this video. So that was really good. He basically just emphasized just the ability to play for spawns. And he talked a little bit about spawn knowledge, like on Checkmate, and talking about how to play for like a pick and trying to get that advantage even when you're in a tough situation. Like for example, in that clip, Toronto was really pushing them into like the back deep spawns on P5 back behind wood, talking about how they play for a pick. And sometimes you just can't do anything, and you have to just accept trying to find those kills and be okay with dying once in a while, because it's going to be tough because they're playing some good Hardpoint too. So overall, I like that a lot. Now we're finally heading into our last moment, or our last video here, which is the practice and routine video. And then we'll give a kind of a breakdown of the overall and our thoughts and whether or not this is worth it. So let's check it out. Alrighty, so that was the last video, and nothing too shocking there. I mean, it was basically just talking about their scrim routine, their practice routine, and their scrim schedule a little bit. And then he talked a little bit about being open to criticism, just being a good teammate, and really focusing on being receptive and don't be critical towards your teammates. Be, you know, constructive with them, and being willing to take that type of criticism as well. You know, I would have liked for him to go a little bit more in depth about that, and like the process about how that could look for the average viewer out there. He didn't really mention going into theater mode at all, which is something I think is probably pretty important, and he probably should mention, is using theater mode to your advantage in these games that have theater mode, and watching your VODs back, especially if you don't have the ability to record your own gameplay. And then obviously, you know, recording your own gameplay can be huge as well, and paying attention to your comps, all those things we talk about a lot on this channel as well, which I think he probably could have gone into a little bit more with the practice routines. Like I put out a whole video about drills and things that you can do inside of bot lobbies to improve certain aspects of your game, and things that you can focus on at different times to improve different aspects. And I was hoping that we'd get a little bit more of that in this video, but that didn't really come through in this video. So those are kind of maybe the few things they could have improved there. Overall, throughout the whole thing, obviously his emphasis was on information and centering were the two things that he talked about by far the most throughout the video. Positioning a little bit, but again, I think he could have improved how much they talked about the positioning. And like I said, I was really hoping we'd get more VOD review from him. I mean, we saw maybe a handful of them, maybe as a whole, maybe it was about 10 minutes or so of him breaking down gameplay, but I would have liked to see like 20 plus minutes of that, maybe even longer, or maybe have like a whole separate video that's like 20-30 minutes long of him just going through different instances or moments throughout the year. Would have been really, really cool. And I think something that his fans would have really enjoyed. The bottom line, is it worth $96? And I mean, short answer is in its current state, if you just want the Scump one, if you only want Scump's gameplay, then no, definitely not. I wish it was, but it's just not. At the end of the day, if you really want to work in other esports as well, or get better in other esports, and you're interested in, you know, COD and like League of Legends or Dota or whatever it is, CSGO, then I'd imagine it'd very much be worth it because you're getting a lot of different pros and their opinions. But for someone who's only playing Call of Duty, it's hard to justify this one unless I'm missing something. If there was some sort of guarantee that you could get some coaching from Scump in a one-on-one basis, then yeah, definitely, for sure. Like if you could submit your gameplay and Scump would personally review it, then I would imagine for most Scump fans, that's 100% worth it. But I didn't see any guarantee of that on the website or anything. Or like if there was like a live stream where he was breaking down people's gameplay once a month or whatever. Because again, this is a 1-year subscription to this website. So the fact that I'm only here for Call of Duty, and right now he's the only COD pro here. What else is there for me here? I'm only here for Call of Duty, and all I have is Scump's VODs. And so at the end of the day, it's like it's not worth $96. It's just not, unless we got more of that. Like if there was like the S&D videos I said should have been broken up in probably more videos. Like if we had videos talking about how to play down a man on offense, or how to, use different setups, or the advantages to different types of setups, like playing long lines of sight, rushing bomb sites on offense, or, defensive setups and the advantages of switching up your setups and when to rotate bomb sites and how you play off the information. Like if those were more in-depth videos that were separated, or like how to plant a bomb site or how to retake a bomb site, like those types of things, those probably need to be separated into separate videos. And that would have helped the value of the course quite a bit. Just overall, like I said, more situational breakdowns from Scump would have been really, really good too. Overall, it was really, really nice and a fun watch. Like it was enjoyable to watch. I mean, it was 1 hour and 40 minutes long, so it was pretty lengthy. And, it was just an enjoyable overall video. But at the end, I think it would have been nice if there was more like, hey, like here's the fundamentals of this, and here's the fundamentals of this, and like a nice like overview of putting it all together. As a whole, those things could have really helped it a lot. We do have a lot of videos around here on the channel like that. So, hey, maybe I should do like some sort of like ultra guide to all my tips videos, because right now it can be kind of hard to figure out which ones are all about which one, like which videos talk about which thing. So anyway, long story short, I don't recommend this for the price. If you have $96 to spend and you really enjoy Scump's content and want to hear him talk about his past and things like that, then I think this is great. It's a fun time, but for $96, it's just not worth it unless you're getting more one-on-one coaching from Scump or whatever it is. So anyway, I'm starting to repeat myself. Hey, shout out Scump. You got my money. Either way, you got my $96. So hey, shout out Pro Guys, shout out Scump. There's no free shout outs. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, like, comment, subscribe, share the video. If you guys really enjoyed it, go check out the other tips videos on the channel. If you're interested in learning from the pros, I have a lot of videos about learning from the pros on this channel. So anyway, I really do appreciate it. As always, guys, I'm your boy SalvationsElite, and guys, we will see ya next time. I'm out.